Oh, that was fun. That was the first time I heard that. Wow. Hello, everybody. Welcome into, I don't know what the hell this is, but it's a lot of fun. We'll call it a lot of fun. We have now moved from Charlestown to Harpers Ferry, interviewing candidates for the town council, because the town council is the only race contested, correct?
I think. Yes. Yeah, the mayoral is and the recorder positions are both unopposed.
Okay. So we are here with Christian Pechuekonis. I got the name right, I think.
Pechuekonis, pretty good, yeah.
Okay, I'll take it. And then of course Jess from the Journal. How are you, Jess?
I'm good, Colin. How are you? And Colin, I love Christian's last name. It gave me a wonderful spelling the first time I tried to spell it.
Well, we have a couple questions for you. We hope not to keep you for 3.5 hours, but maybe 3:15 or so.
Okay, that'd be fine.
So I want to start out, and this is kind of where I start out with a lot of these interviews. You've served, you're the only incumbent, I think, going to serve again on the town council that's running. What made you want to run?
I think the big reason is in this, my term, my one and only term, first time I've ever done this, the first year was tied up with Count the Vote. We spent a year on that practically. And so very, very little is accomplished in the town. And then COVID hit here last year. And it until COVID, we're just kind of been coming out of it. But really since the last few months, we've been able to conduct real business. And I think there's a lot of things I need to do for this town. And it's to kind of take a lot of the stuff I've been thinking about and working with my prior, I guess my current members for at least another 6 weeks.
You sound thrilled.
Yeah. There's a lot here to do, really. And I guess the biggest thing is our infrastructure has been at no fault really of anyone. It's just kind of ground down over the last decade. And we need to focus on our own needs here.
Yeah, that kind of leads, and then after this, Jess, I'll let you jump in if you want, but that kind of leads to the next question, of course, which is some of your priorities. What would you like to see get done if there's still more work to do? What are the things at the top of the list?
Well, I just started a sidewalk committee for Washington Street, which is our main street really for the town. It's actually the old 340, and our sidewalks have really worn down or begun to fall apart. So that I started a committee. It just got approved last meeting, and I'll be staffing and I'll be the chair. And then we're going to start working on trying to restore our sidewalks, not get rid of them, but rebuild them, repair them. And in some cases, we'll have to replace them. That's one. We have a lot of serious safety issues, I feel, in regards to along the sidewalks where we have drop-offs off the side. We need railings or new railings. And then we have, like today with the rain, we have stormwater issues because we're hilly and it does flood people's property. And we have neglected this for a very long time, and there's solutions. We'll get them done.
Yes.
So Christian, one thing I wanted to ask you, a lot of this time last year was spent looking at how you guys as a council could help the businesses and support them in safe manners, keep them open while still practicing safety. What are you kind of looking forward to in working with the businesses now that COVID is kind of maybe a little bit less of a reality?
Right. Yeah, we did a lot for the businesses to keep the town open last year for the COVID-19, and I'm on the Merchants Association as the liaison from the merchants, and I'm the only member of town council that actually works as a business in town. So our job is really to communicate well with them. They've had a kind of distant relationship with the town governance, and with my connection with them, I've kind of pulled them in and brought their voice to because they don't, most of them are not residents, and so they can't vote. And so they really depend on a person like me to be their voice in town council. And that's where I kind of get a reputation in town, where I'm kind of very commercial, very business oriented. But I care about the residents, but I do care about our merchants because they're really a lot of the lifeblood of this town, and the revenue that comes to it.
Another sort of lifeblood I think too is the MARC train, is the train that there have been some issues there, haven't there?
Yeah, huge issues. And we even supported it a couple of years ago with monies for, we're not a very big town. Well, matter of fact, we're one of the smallest towns in all of West Virginia. And yet we came up with money to support the MARC train. We have a MARC trains come here Monday through Friday. Well, I can't remember. I don't know for sure now with this, with COVID, but normally they were coming Monday through Friday, and it is important. Brings tourists here, but mainly it's for the residents to travel to DC to work.
Are there things that you wish you could have done differently throughout this first time through? Are there any, I know people say they have no regrets. We all say we have no regrets, but we all have regrets at the end of the day. Are there any that you have for your first term?
I kind of wish the animosity wasn't as strong. I'm not trying to get named, but it has been a very, very contentious 2 years that I've served. I feel like I've served 10. I mean, with the counting of the vote, having the Supreme Court involved, the circuit court, the sheriff's office, and it was just I just wish we had not gone through that. That's not something I could have done, though I did recuse myself from being on the tribunal to actually be in judgment of counting the provisional ballots. But that's probably the biggest waste. I just could not believe we're going through this.
Jess, did you follow any of that? Any of the count the vote stuff?
So
I was in the middle of it. I was one of the councilman's seats that was in jeopardy.
Yeah, no, I was asking Jackson.
Myself.
Yeah. And
so that happened right as you were kind of leaving our team towards the COVID team that you got to lead. And then it kind of wrapped up right as you got back. So I didn't really get to be a part of too much of the count the vote.
Well, that started, the count the vote was really when I first started. It was my the first month, because we had to do the count of the ballots. And I was on I also been attending town meetings for a long time prior, but I've been here 4.5 years. So I've been engaged from day one in the town council, either observing or participating. And it happened right in the beginning. And then COVID came and,
Jess, do you have anything?
I was gonna say, it sounds like you always have had a bit of interest in being that active participant in your local government. What kind of drives that passion or that importance for you?
Well, in my case, compared to my colleagues like Jay Premack and Nancy Case and Kevin Carden, they're like the policy people. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm the kind of guy that wants to do things. And so you'll see me on committees that try to do things in the town and try to make improvements and manage these things. We don't have a town manager. The mayor, does that, but we don't have staff really. So the town council members end up doing a lot of these type of activities. And I care. I think that's the big thing. I care very much for Harpers Ferry, like many citizens, but I care a lot. I mean, the 2 years I've served, I've been to 172 meetings.
Jeez.
Town meetings, town councils, committees, commissions. I serve in the COVID-19 task force. I've been to 2 Bolivar Town Council meetings. I'm engaged.
How many hours was that?
I haven't even figured it out. Thousands of hours. I don't know. It's a lot, and that's not including prep for meetings and like, for instance, being a chair of a commission, not a commission, but a chair of commission or committee. You have to set up the agenda. There's a lot of work pre-work that you have to do before. You just don't attend. You have to do work, before.
When do you have time for your real job, like your day job, the thing that you make real money for?
Yeah, well, I used to work for TIAA, and last November I retired from that job. But in the meantime, I was running our B&B. I'm the assistant innkeeper. My wife, Lynn, is the innkeeper. She really keeps it running. I just, whatever she tells me to do, I do it. Clean, fix, whatever, I do
That's the key to a happy marriage. Ask my husband.
Now, you talked about how passionate you are and how much you want to be involved and how much you care and how much a lot of the citizens care in Harpers Ferry. A lot of the citizens care so much that there's been a lot of divisive dialogue in Harpers Ferry. How do you think that can remedy itself? Are there things you can do to help that?
Well, I'm kind of hoping the division we've had over the hilltop will decrease here. Soon there'll hopefully be the demolition of the old Hilltop Hotel. And hopefully by that may be symbolic of that. And then the state takes over with SB 657. The town is not directly involved in the construction of the hotel anymore. Just traffic and things like that. So I'm hoping at that point things will smooth a little bit. One of the things I think is I'd like the town to understand it too, or the residents. There are many people who move here and they think we're a normal little town. Well, we're a little different than that. We are a tourist town. We are probably one of the most well-known towns in the United States, or at least in West Virginia in this region. I mean, we sit in the Washington, D.C. metroplex of 6.2 million people, and they come here. And I have guests all the time. And we're a smaller B&B in this Rock Haven, and we're full all the time. We love to we like to meet our people, our guests, and like to talk to them. And I think the thing in the town is I have to try to help the residents to understand the importance of tourism. That's why we have our own police department. We have our own water department. A town less than 300 people.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so I have a question there, but I want to make sure Jess gets in something if you have anything.
I guess the only other question I have for you, Christian, you mentioned going to some Bolivar meetings, and not to harp on the merchants, but that's kind of part of my beat as a journalist. Some of the merchants up towards the higher end of Harpers Ferry, the Snallygaster General Store, Kelly Farm Kitchens, they've really been adamant about making that connection between Harpers Ferry and Bolivar, at least on the merchant side. Is that something you'd like to see on the council side?
I'd love to do that. I know all the owners up there. I know those two owners of those places. My biggest disappointment, well, back to that question earlier about disappointment. I was really disappointed we weren't able to put together a pact with the city or the town of Bolivar regarding the police, joint policing. We used to have joint policing, and in 2015, I guess 2016, it went to the county on their end. And I really think it makes a lot of fiscal sense for our town. We have brand new police cars, we have trained officers, and we would love very much to, work their area as well, because it's right in our backyard. Our two towns that butt each other. So that was probably my biggest regret, not putting that together.
We talked a lot about regrets, obviously, and that kind of stuff. How about some of the good things? What are you happy that you were able to accomplish over the 4 years?
I think, well, it's two.
It felt like 10.
Yeah, I think the number one thing was handling the COVID-19. That was really, we just threw all things aside, we focused, and I think that, and we protected our residents, but not only that, we kept the town open and we kept the visitors safe. So that was probably the number one thing. The second was the Hilltop Street Agreement, so that we can proceed with the, and it's a very controversial vote, believe me, to make that agreement with the Swan organization to sell off the streets with conservation easements and the overlooks preserved for 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we even got we got a trail put in as well. So we got, and some money, but that was two. And then three, I would say, is the waterworks. We finally closed after 4 or 5 years, our close the deal to get the new water plant to start construction. That's a $6.3 million loan from the USDA. We got that all hammered down. We got our bonds issued, and those are the three big things. And actually, we did one more little thing. We put in a street in Harpers Ferry. We're growing. Put in a small street, a new one, and that's a lot of work, believe it or not.
I'd imagine, yeah. What's the name of the street?
Cambridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'd be remiss. I've got to ask you at least one hotel question, because that's always been sort of the hot button thing in Harpers Ferry, and it's not something necessarily controversial. I'm just sort of wondering if you're happy where it stands currently.
Yes, I am. I'm confident in the SWAN organization. I'm very confident in the state getting involved. I think we did not have the capability to manage that project, and I feel very comfortable with the state doing it. I know there's a lot of other people in the area, in the town, that feel we should be doing it, but they make our laws. They regulate our laws. I'm very confident that SWAN's going to do this project well with the state.
Along those lines too, did you read, because when I first came here, it was in the wake of a story in the Washington Post. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Did you read that, and what were your thoughts on that story?
I've had so many stories about Hilltop. Well, I know the controversy. It's been going on for 13 years.
Yeah.
It's a long thing. But I just felt when I came here, I ran on getting this hotel moving forward, and doing an agreement that's fair to the bill, fair to SWAN, and also very fair to the town and the residents of the town. It's the economic engine of this. If you look at the Hilltop's history, it was founded by Thomas Lovett in 1888. He was a Black entrepreneur and business manager. I mean, in the Jim Crow era, and he built a magnificent hotel and had it for decades. And it was the heartbeat of Harpers Ferry always, until 10 or 12 years ago.
All right, it's time for some fun questions now. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for the fun stuff?
Sure.
Jess, do you have a fun question?
I think I do.
Okay, why don't you start then?
Well, COVID's kind of a little bit behind us now. We're opening up. What event in Harpers Ferry are you looking forward to? What's been your favorite event to be part of as a resident?
Well, we do an event in the fall called the Oktoberfest, and it's in the Pavilion Park. We have a small park in the middle of the town, and it's a real lot of fun to just hang out and have some beers with and music. And in October, it's really fun. That's probably my favorite event.
It's up your alley, Colin.
Yeah, beers and music. If you need somebody to hang out with, Christian, just give me a call, man.
Okay.
I'll
give you a holler.
So, and that kind of leads to this you're the only candidate I can ask this question to, because you're the only one who served on council. Who on council would you most likely on this council go to dinner with?
Well, probably they're all fascinating people. It's probably Nancy Case, and we're friends, and her husband Rob. They're just a fun couple. We've known each other, for a while.
Rob has an amazing head of hair.
He does.
I am so jealous. So jealous of that. I've watched the Harpers Ferry meeting since virtually pretty much for the whole time that I've covered you guys, because pretty much for the whole time I've been there, it's been during COVID.
Yeah.
I am thrilled beyond words that you are sitting in almost the same spot you sit in for those meetings. It appears.
Every meeting.
And every meeting I'm trying to figure out what books are behind you. I'm like, oh my goodness, he has all these bookshelves. So I want to ask you, what's your favorite book in that bookshelf?
Oh, well, wow, there's a lot of books here. Let's see. Well, they're they're all good. Now that was a good question. I wasn't expecting that. I read a lot of business books. Well, let me see. I don't see one of my favorites here. So I don't know.
Well, what is your favorite book then? We'll just take that.
Oh, it's business book. Simple. Where is it? I can't find it.
You must not like it that much.
I just read them and then I throw them on the shelf and kind of forget about it. Oh, I like the Taipan books. Oh my gosh, Taipan and Shogun from James Clavell. Okay. They're over here.
Uh-oh.
Did I do something wrong? Uh-oh.
Now I'm looking at your.
Yeah, there they are. These are like my favorites. They're really good if you want to know something about particularly it's about Japan, you know. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
That looks like a really cool room.
Thank you. Yeah. It's probably a room. Yeah, this house was never painted, or it's all original. I mean, not painted, but I mean all the trim is all original. So we were real fortunate to buy this home 4 years ago. So
I like the blue. I like those walls.
yeah, that's my wife's choice. I'm trying to figure out how to turn it around. So
we still have a couple more questions.
all right, go ahead. I'm gonna turn my phone around because am I in the picture still?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. Turn it around. My tech support is my wife.
Of all the fun question segments I've done, this is without question the best. This is so much fun. Jess, do you have another one?
I asked a Ranson City Council person this. Who you got winning the Masked Singer this season?
Oh, I don't know. I don't. I only watch Garden Channels, HGTV, and PBS. That's kind of a
smart choice to avoid the Masked Singer.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen commercials for it, but I don't know anything about it.
So your favorite restaurant in Harpers Ferry?
It's Hamilton's.
And what do you normally get there?
Oh my gosh. I always pick something new. It's all good. It's really gourmet food. I just had a seafood Newburgh. Oh my gosh, it's really good.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
It's a crusty, looks like a roll, but it's crusty pastry and it's stuffed with various seafoods in it, like crab and lobster and some fish. And it's really good, creamy. It's really good.
That's our next lunch date, Colin, because the couple who owns it's perfect food.
Really?
Yeah.
So this place must be famous for their food then.
Locally
famous.
It really is a good place. They came from Lower Town and they did get caught in the COVID down there, and they were fortunate because down there there's no parking near their restaurant, and so they were able to come up to Upper Camp Hill, we call it, this area where there's some lot more parking, and that really saved the day for them when they came up here.
What is your best concert you've ever been to?
Well, I'm going to be dating myself a little bit. It's probably Pink Floyd. They're probably
Really?
That's awesome.
Which tour?
Huh?
Which tour?
Which tour? Oh, I don't know. I guess in the beginning, I saw them in New Jersey. I'm from Jersey, so they used to come through. Billy Joel, I've seen a lot of, because I'm near New York City. So,
wow.
But to see Pink Floyd out in a stadium, really something. And their music and their sound. I mean, the graphics. It was really good.
Wow.
I wasn't high. Okay.
Well, that's going to be the headline of this story that's in the paper. Councilman, I wasn't high, quote unquote.
Right.
I have one more. Jess, do you have one more?
Who's your favorite superhero, Christian? That's a near and dear one to my heart.
Oh my gosh. I guess I like Batman.
Yeah.
That's the perfect choice, because that is mine.
That's mine too.
Yeah. He's always trying to take care defeat crime, obviously, but he's always trying to do good. And
Well, all superheroes are trying to do good.
I don't know. I mean, Tony Stark's a little.
So
Yeah.
the final question for you, Christian, would you ever consider running for mayor?
yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be quite a burden.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing it this year because I didn't know if Mayor Bishop was running or not, and he decided not to. I talked to Greg Bond, who was the prior mayor, and I asked him to run. But I had thought seriously about doing it, but for the sake of the council and my vote, I wanted to stay on the council to make sure we have the right majority.
Cool.
So,
Well, so
but I
then-
could have run. Yeah.
In 4 years, the three of us will do this again.
Oh, two.
Two.
We're
Oh,
only
that's
2
right.
years.
I keep going for it. Yeah. In
Well,
2
that's-
years,
Yeah. We'll hopefully do it again.
and you'll be running for mayor. It's every 2 years in Harpers Ferry. I was
Yeah, it is, and it's a complete turnover of, we don't stagger our terms. They're all the same term. So we all leave at once and start anew. This is the first council, I believe, that will have only one potential incumbent running. This has never happened, I don't think, in years. They always had some people like Charlotte, she's run 19 years. Hardy was on 7 or 8 years. I mean, there was a lot of people that served, a long time, and now they're not there.
Now, do you have a website or a Facebook page where people can go to if they want to support you? Or we've had people come in and give their phone numbers out. Or do you have an email address?
Yeah, they can probably the best thing. Yeah, they can. Well, I do Facebook. I'm on Facebook. My wife helps me with that. My email is my last name at gmail.com.
Okay.
Pechuekonis at gmail.com. Yeah, we have a website too, rockhavenbnb.com, but that's more for the business.
Yeah. Well, Christian, I can't thank you enough for taking the time. This has been so much fun.
Good.
So much fun. Good luck. I hope you've had fun. I hope this has been better than
I
some of your
did. It
other
was good.
meetings.
I'd like to do it again. Yeah, I thought it was good. I wish. Well, I hope I get on council. Really, I really, not so much for my sake, but for my colleagues, because it's a hard job. It's hard to learn. There's no training, and if you don't have much, Kevin Cardinal will be the only one who's currently serving, whereas everyone else would be, well, the mayor's going to be, but he's 4 years removed from office. So I really like to be on there just to help my colleagues.
Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about it in a week or so. Or
Yeah.
2 weeks. But thank you so much, Christian. Have a
All
good
right.
day. Jess,
You
you have
too.
a good day.
You too.
Everybody
Thanks,
out there, have a
Jessica,
good
Colin.
day.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
You all
much.
have a good one. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.